advised by the attorneys to close the building. The building shouldn't be open. They're risky.
I think they take this serious. I think it's a big game to them, and they don't understand that the more confusion and the more back and forth that we do.
The spectacle that unfolded under Tiffany Henyard's leadership, she's known as the self-proclaimed super mayor, marks the latest controversial chapter in her already tumultuous political career. To understand the chaos of the meeting, picture a mix of a courtroom drama and a high-stakes soap opera. The event was unlike anything the residents of Dem Township had ever witnessed, filled with heated yelling, finger-pointing, dramatic walkouts, and accusations being hurled in every direction. The atmosphere in the room was so tense, it felt almost palpable. And this meeting left the trustees deeply frustrated, adding to the township's already bleak future as they struggled to make sense of the drama unfolding before them. From the moment the meeting began, the air was thick with tension. Henyard wasted no time in setting a combative tone, continuing a month-long streak of controversy surrounding her leadership, accusations of poor management, corruption, and extravagant spending that followed her for some time. And she was quick to lash out at township trustees. Henyard accused them of neglecting their responsibilities and ignoring the needs of the community. And her remarks grew increasingly venomous. Her criticism wasn't limited to the current board. She also took aim at prior no-shows, calling out trustees for their absence during important decisions. The tone of the meeting rapidly shifted from tense to chaotic as Henyard escalated the exchanges. The professionalism one might expect in a government meeting was nowhere to be found. With harsh accusations, finger-pointing, and emotional outbursts became the norm for many attendees. This wasn't just a political meeting. It was an impromptu performance of political theater. One attendee, clearly frustrated, compared the proceedings to an old school wrestling, and they go down complete with over-the-top rhetoric and dramatic monologues delivered with flair. Though the description might have sounded exaggerated, it fit the atmosphere of the evening, especially for those familiar with Henyard's turbulent tenure. But beyond the spectacle, there were significant ramifications for the township's administration. The meeting revealed troubling questions about whether the local government was still acting in the best interest of the community or if it had degenerated into a partisan battleground. Henyard's critics retaliated fiercely, with several trustees denying her allegations of absenteeism and accusing her of misusing township funds. They charged her with dictatorial leadership and claimed she prioritized personal grudges over the needs of the community. The exchange grew more heated as the trustees and Henyard traded accusations across the room, while Henyard herself remained calm and unfazed by the chaos, continuing to double down on her criticisms. She framed herself as a determined warrior fighting against entrenched opposition, suggesting that the establishment was determined to block her efforts to serve the community. At one point, Henyard declared, "If you want your job, I'll do it for you." The statement inspired some supporters in the room, but it also drew sharp criticism from those who viewed it as a blatant power grab and a sign of a growing NG authoritarianism. Tempers flared as one trustee stormed out of the meeting, slamming the door behind them in frustration. The audience already tended to react audibly to the political infighting that was on full display. Meanwhile, Henyard painted herself as a victim of a conspiracy to undermine her, blaming political opponents for orchestrating what she described as constant attacks on her leadership. As the meeting deviated further from its intended agenda, the discussion shifted to broader issues facing the township. Financial mismanagement, missed deadlines for critical projects, and alleged misappropriation of township funds. Henyard's critics accused her of engaging in reckless spending, suggesting that her focus on lavish projects was tone-deaf to the needs of a community grappling with deteriorating infrastructure, delayed public services, and increasing resident disillusionment. Public safety was also a hotly debated topic, with allegations that township resources were being diverted to protect Henyard personally rather than being spent on broader safety measures that might benefit the community. The conversation, however, rarely moved toward concrete resolutions. Instead, it amplified the divisions that had already existed in the township since Henyard's rise to power. By the end of the night, it was clear that the meeting had only deepened the rifts between Henyard and her critics. Both sides had dug in their heels, and Henyard remained steadfast in her defiance, presenting herself as a leader, undeterred by adversity. Her opponents, however, saw behavior as emblematic of everything that was wrong with the current state of township government, unclear leadership, a lack of direction, and a hostile atmosphere that left residents and trustees alike exhausted and distrustful. No real answers were provided to the frustrated residents, and Henyard remained unyielding. Her position unchanged, the meeting had not brought any clarity, only more confusion and division, further highlighting the deepening dysfunction at the heart of Themi Township's government. It was not at the hearing here today, neither was her attorney, and she was not made available. Thorin Township is grappling with a growing crisis that extends beyond political disputes, one that directly threatens essential community services. Since December 1st, the township has been without insurance, leave both residents and employees vulnerable. This lack of coverage could disrupt vital programs such as senior transportation and after-school programs for children. Despite a heated meeting aimed at addressing this issue, no resolution was reached. Instead, the gathering descended into chaos, with blame flying in all directions, impassioned speeches, and growing frustration from all parties. The most prominent figure in this conflict is Mayor Tiffany Henyard, whose defiance and accusations further fueled tension during the meeting. Henyard did not hold back in accusing the township trustees of negligence. She claimed that the insurance renewal was canceled because the trustees had repeatedly failed to attend prior meetings. She urged residents to reach out to their trustees directly, demanding that they fulfill their duties. You all should reach out to your trustees because they are not doing their jobs. Henyard told the room, her words resonating through the increasingly hostile atmosphere. However, her detractors quickly seized upon her accusations, accusing Henyard of using the insurance crisis as a political tool to manipulate the board into supporting her personal agenda. One of her most vocal critics, Trustee Chris Gonzalez, did not mince words when he criticized Henyard's approach to the issue. He argued that Hen's handling of the situation was both ineffective and deliberately divisive, designed to increase her own power rather than addressing the needs of the community as voices were raised and tensions heightened. The meeting devolved into a spectacle of accusations with no practical solutions emerging. It became clear that there were deep divisions between Henyard and the trustees, and this rift only further prevented any meaningful progress to dysfunction within the township's leadership was on full display. And the spectacle only increased citizens' anxiety as residents watched the chaos unfold. They were left with little hope that their critical services would be restored. The trust accused Henyard of using her position for political gamesmanship, while Henyard struggled to maintain control amidst a storm of resistance. What should have been a productive discussion about securing insurance instead turned into a battlefield of personal passion. She was never one to waste time over things like this. Henyard's political maneuvering, coupled with the lack of progress on essential services, has left the township at a standstill while her supporters continue to rally behind her. The ongoing dysfunction has raised questions about the future of leadership in the community.
Not at the hearing here today, neither was her attorney. She was not.
The people of the township are left wondering if their leaders will ever put the needs of the community ahead of their own personal ambitions. For now, the insurance crisis and the political battles surrounding it are likely to remain a central focus of the township's political drama, and the resolution to this crisis remains elusive. township in Dalton, except in one case, Tiffany Henyard launched on a ballot while in another, a Henyard ally, is looking to the tension between Mayor Tiffany Henyard and the Board of Trustees as the root cause of the ongoing crisis in Thorne Township. Henyard has openly accused the trustees of deliberately obstructing progress, framing them as saboteurs with a singular aim to damage her reputation. During a recent contentious meeting, Henyard stated, "They're sabotaging me because they know I'm standing up for the people." Her bold accusations have sparked fierce debates, but the trustees quickly countered with one privately characterizing Henyard's leadership style as the real barrier to progress. This trustee described Henyard as domineering and unresponsive to criticism, claiming she believes she knows everything and anyone who disagrees with her is simply labeled as against her. The current situation is marked by deep mistrust and continuous deadlock, transforming the township into a battleground where even the most minor decisions ignite fierce battles. The FBI's ongoing investigation into the Henyard administration's finances, focusing on possible financial malfeasance, has further complicated the situation, while Henyard has vehemently denied any wrongdoing, framing the investigation as a coordinated effort to undermine her leadership. The cloud of suspicious continues to hang over the township. The investigation and the surrounding political drama highlight the leadership breakdown and its detrimental impact on the community. Henyard has repeatedly accused her political enemies of sabotaging her efforts, portraying herself as a victim of a broader conspiracy. She claims that these attacks are part of a deliberate campaign to forward her progress and prevent her from fulfilling her duties to the people. During a recent public comment period at a township meeting, supporters voiced their outrage, questioning how they could continue to trust the administration given the numerous unresolved scandals. Many residents are disillusioned